Welcome to the Passion of Entrepreneurship. I am Ravi Tangri, and every weekday in June, I am interviewing an incredible entrepreneur about their journey, what it is that really fueled their journey, what gets them through the challenges, and how they're looking forward today. And my guest today is someone I've done a lot of work with, is Nathalie Plamondon-Thomas from Vancouver. Nathalie, welcome to the Passion of Entrepreneurship.
Hello, Ravi. It's always a pleasure to be invited in all your numerous projects and shows, and anything that you do really is always fascinating. It's always great to work with you.
It's always fun to work with you. Nathalie and I have done some different lives over the last couple of years. We're doing one every Friday now called Getting Back to Business. That's really excited about how do we move forward. But Nathalie, today is about you. And what we want to get into, I mean, you're incredibly successful now, and through the even through the pandemic, you have really moved your business forward. But let's go way back. Did you I know that you spent some time after school working for others, but did you have any entrepreneurial ventures when you were young that started you out?
Yeah, definitely. I started teaching dance at 13 years old. So I was, what happened is I was the oldest at 13, and they needed an instructor to teach the youngest ones. So I started doing this, and then eventually I grew the troupe to over 300 dancers. We were touring in Europe. I was teaching about 15 classes a week, and they were paying me $20 an hour. So as a kid, I had lots of money, and I had no time to spend it. So I was very resourceful, though. So I solved the problem by ordering stuff on the Sears catalog, so that I could actually spend all that money that I was making. And then eventually what happened is my mom was in business. So she was an entrepreneur, and she had a printing business, and she needed some investors to grow her printing business. And I had money. So I thought, okay, I'll invest in my mom's business. So eventually I started working there as well as a reporter in the beginning. Then I managed a newspaper that we had, then managed one of the printing business, because by this time we had bought another one in Quebec City. And then eventually we had about 25 staff in one and 75 staff in the other. And we sold the company. So again, at that time, I made a lot of money. So I'm good at making money. I'm really good at spending it as well. So that was a huge limiting belief that I had to overcome, because every single time that I would make money, I would end up still living paycheck to paycheck anyway. And the more money I would make, the more money I would spend. I was really good at spending it. Like, I super skilled on spending.
That's very common, actually, scarily. I just love, though, that you as a teenager invested in your mom's company. That it's normally the other way around, but you had already earned enough that you could invest then to support your mom's company. So you were actually managing a business that young, like right out of school.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I did an international baccalaureate. So my first bac, I did it in 2.5 or 3 years. And after that, I did a second one in business administration. And that one, it took me 8 years, because I was working in the printing business at that time. And I was doing my baccalaureate degree, my second one, while I was working, which was great, because I could do my project on my own business, which was great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you said, basically you made all this money, but then you spent it all.
So, I was so bad with money. And then I was still teaching dance, and then moved to the fitness industry. So I've been teaching now for over 33 years. And while I was teaching fitness classes, I realized that I could have a better impact with working one-on-one with people. So I became a personal trainer, and then my clients would eat crap. So I needed to become a nutrition and wellness specialist. And so I was working so hard to build my business on the side, because by then we had sold our printing business. So, and again, I made lots of money, the kind of money that I would not have had to work for the rest of my life. But hey, I had this limiting belief about money that you always live paycheck to paycheck. So what did I do? I spent it again.
You had to get back to that because that's what we do, right? It's what you're unconscious.
Exactly. And when you have a limiting belief, whether it's yours or not, and the reason I say that is because my parents are super positive. I'm so lucky to have had them. They're really, we had signs in the house, you can do this, you're amazing, yes, you can. And every Sunday we had to sit down in the living room and listen to motivational tapes.
Oh, that's...
parents were, injecting us with this positive stuff. In the 70s, it was not that popular, and I was rolling my eyes as a kid. They were amazing. However, my dad had a huge limiting belief about money. He's a sibling of 23, a family of 23 kids. So single mom as well. So
23 kids?
My grandma had 23 pregnancies.
Oh, the poor woman.
There's about 17 alive now, but that's a huge family. And their house burned down twice. So she's on the street with 23 kids. So that was a very lean diet on pasta and mashed potatoes, and money was not around. And money doesn't grow on trees, and you have to work hard for money, and you never have enough. And so all these limiting beliefs that, of course, my dad grew up with, this got transferred to me. And until the day that I realized, wait a minute, this is not mine. I don't have to believe this, because when you make more money, you know what happens? You have more money. That's it. You don't have to believe that when you make more money, you spend more. What the heck? Why am I believing this? But it took me a long time before getting to that stage. The really big click happened when I was working for an oil company. So after the printing industry, I went to work for an oil company, making 6 figures, selling, was really good at it. And I was building my fitness business on the side, right? On the side, because that voice in my head was telling me, oh, you can't quit your full-time job. You need a steady paycheck, right? Because you can't make it on your own. And what are you thinking about? Like, you want to become a professional speaker in English? You don't even speak English. You want to write books in English? What are you thinking about?
So you had those visions.
And I had visions, but I had this nasty voice in my head telling me I couldn't do it. But it's true that back in the days, my English was really bad. I remember teaching a fitness class. I was teaching yoga. And at the end of the class, I want everybody to relax, and they're all laying down. And then I want them to relax their body, relax their face, relax their jaw. And I wanted them to put their tongue on the roof of their mouth, to let their jaw release. And I said, put your thong behind your tits. Beautiful. And I wanted to write books in English. Yeah, loser. So I was hearing these voices all the time.
I can just hear the class erupting.
Of course. So at the end of the day, I kept listening to this voice. And one day I was with a client for my oil sales job, and I was selling her a huge contract, that kind of contract that could have, made sure that I get my commission for the rest of the year. So she and
so you were in the oil business as well. I just want to, you skipped over that. I just want to.
Yeah, I was in the oil business after the printing business.
Yeah.
So after that, I had just taken a coaching certification and did a master practitioner in NLP. I was studying a few things, trying to get into the coaching business. I was not really deep into neuroscience yet. I was just doing like accountability coaching. I was starting to build my business. So this client that was placing a huge oil order tells me something about her finances are not really good right now because she's got her daughter as a project and she can't afford it and it's a big deal. So first thing you know, I'm sitting down with this client, the oil client, and I'm coaching her. And by the time I left the office, she had reconciled with her daughter and I had convinced her not to buy the oil because it was more important for her to invest in her daughter's projects. So I left the office and I'm like, yes. And then I'm like, oh. What's wrong with me? Like, loser, right? So I'm like, okay, I guess I'm more interested in helping people than I'm interested in selling oil. So I wanted to make this my full-time gig. But again, the voice in my head was telling me, you can't do that. Like, you're never going to make it. You know what happens when you make money? You spend it all and you're so bad. And so that's when I realized, wait a minute. I need to figure out, one, how to shut down that voice inside my head. Because that's not helping me. Why am I choosing to listen to this nasty voice that's been bothering me since I was young? And it's holding me back. So that's when I really decided to start studying neuroscience. And then I spent the last decade studying the brain, studying a bit of quantum physics and neurolinguistic programming and different ways to create a system. So I've created a system, the DNA system, to reprogram the 6 layers of your brain for change, to make sure that you don't talk to yourself that way and how to tap into the full potential of your brain. So that's what I did. That's the system that I shared in my 8 international #1 bestselling books, because yes, I did end up writing books in English.
In English. Now, the thing is, all of this came out of your journey building this DNA system and such. The thing I want to touch on is that there's a lot of people that do what your dad did about buying the tapes, or now it's the MP3s, and listening to them, but they're not, if you will, going that extra level to go into what is it in me, what you did, what is it in me that's stopping me?
Yeah.
Right? Because there's a lot of people, and you know, there's even a term for it, spiritual bypassing. People go to this workshop and it's, oh my God, it's wonderful, it's euphoric, I feel amazing, it's wonderful. And nothing changes in their lives. And 2 weeks later, they're at another program. It's, oh my God, it's the best thing since sliced bread, this, blah, blah. But nothing changes. So they're hooked on the high. And that, oh yes, I'm learning, but they're not actually changing the results in concrete ways, whether it is in terms of keeping the money that you earn, or healthy relationships, or health, or anything, right?
It's because people are forgetting a step. So the first step for any goal, and you've learned that, everybody's talking about this, you need to know what you want. So that's the first step of my DNA system, the D, desire. Do you know what you want? So people make a list, make a list of everything that you want, or they do a vision board, or they visualize what they want, and it's great. You have to do that. However, it's not the end of it all. I'll give you the analogy of a kitchen renovation. So let's say that you want to make a renovation in your kitchen. So the first step, you will probably make a folder, and then you'll put samples in that folder. And then you'll put samples of this hardwood floor, these cupboards, this countertop. You want this backsplash, and then the paint chips. And you put all that in your folder. And you have to do that. You have to know what you want. But that's just a folder. You can't cook in a folder. You can't invite people in a folder. Like, you'll be a little tight in there if you have 10 people in your folder. This is not going to work. So that's one step. It's step #1. There's 2 more steps after that. But what people do is they skip step #2 and they go straight to step #3, and they try to install the island over top of the existing island in the kitchen, and install these cupboards over top of the existing cupboards. It's not going to work, because you have to, step 2, gut out the old kitchen and remove all the bad stuff before you can reinstall the stuff. So you need to remove those limiting beliefs. You have to remove negative emotions, anger, fear, hurt, sadness, guilt, whatever is holding you back. You have to remove the bad habits, the self-sabotage, all the stuff that's holding you back. that's what I do. So that's what I do now more in my practice.
Yeah.
I'm no longer in the fitness industry. I still teach fitness classes 3 times a week just to keep me fit, but that's not my main gig anymore. So for the past 10 years, all I've been doing is one-on-one coaching. And what I focus on is that step 2, because nobody does that.
Right.
I'll do step 1. They're good at implementing habits, step 3, and but they're trying to do that over top of old stuff, and it's not gonna work. And that's the work that you do as well, Rafi. You work in the middle part where you need to remove all the crap. Like, and you
release the blocks and reclaim your power.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. So I'd like to go back to your time in that what was it? If we can slow down, you said that you realized that you had control over that voice, that it wasn't what you wanted. Most people, first of all, don't get that, but can you take us through what you went through to realize the need for step 2 in your life? If you can slow that down, I'm curious about your journey through that process.
Yeah. So what happened is I needed to identify exactly what I was telling to myself, what I was saying in my head. And it did happen at the same time, because remember, I was still in the fitness industry on the side, right? So I've been teaching for a long time. And what happened is I started to observe my clients, and the clients that were successful, because I was doing personal training, fitness classes, and I was teaching nutrition as well, right? So I started to observe my clients, and those that were successful, and my clients were really successful. And I was comparing with other trainers that were much better trainer than I was, right? Like, I was a basic personal trainer. I was pretty new in the personal training. I've been teaching fitness for a long time, but in the personal training role, I was maybe 1 year or 2 years in, and people that had been personal training for a lot longer than I did, their clients didn't have the results that my clients did. So I started thinking, what happens? What's going on? What did I do? Or is it just the client? And I realized that they were not successful because I was teaching them a better way to squat, or because I was giving them a better kale salad recipe.
Yeah.
It's because they were changing the way they would think. So I thought, how did I do that? How did they change the way they think just by me not even knowing I was doing that?
So you were doing this unconsciously before you actually took training in this.
Exactly. So I didn't know.
That's fascinating.
So I thought, why are they changing the way they think? And then I realized, okay, well, there are a lot of things that I do, that I say, that are different. And I need to figure that out. So I started to observe how I was talking, how I was thinking, and how I was that I've always done, catching what people would say and rephrase it right there and then. And then later on, when I started studying how the brain works, I realized, oh my gosh, this is how it works. And that's how I created, the analogy of the personal assistant.
So you were modeling yourself even before, like, neuro-linguistic programming comes from modeling some of the great change artists in the world, Milton Erickson and Virginia Satir, the people who did it intuitively, and it breaks down their language structure and such. You did that to yourself before you even studied NLP, is what you're telling me.
I have to say that I humbly not able to say yes, because I am not near Milton Erickson. Like,
no, but you were modeling yourself. No, but what I'm saying is you were modeling yourself.
Yes, that's what I was doing, because
that's
I thought,
fascinating.
Well, I thought, what am I doing? What am I doing different? So why are my classes, because I was teaching in Toronto for Good Life at the time, my classes were packed. I had like 40, 50 people in my classes, and then we were refusing some people. People would line up before the classes, and I was teaching 10, 12, 15 classes a week, and my classes were busy. And I was not better than...
Well, stop saying that now. The thing is, better is not just how they teach.
It's exactly. There's lots of different key elements to packing a class. And it's not just about your technique, your own way of performing. It's not about your way of cueing. It's not just about the way you connect with them when you're on stage. Like, there's lots of key elements, and I worked hard for this, and eventually I did become Instructor of the Year for Canada in 2007. So I did work hard at my fitness execution and all this. And it's not the title that got people in my classes. It's the people in my classes that got me the title, because I you know what I mean? They did
totally
come to my class because I was the Instructor of the Year for Canada. They came to my class way before then. And because of that, I was recognized as. So somehow, I'm not sure. Tell me.
Well, I'm just trying to put the timeline of this together. That what I'm hearing is that you started getting results for others before you were getting results for you. Am I correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So you were going, how is it my people are improving? So you dissected your language patterns, your behaviors, to find what you did that was different.
Exactly.
And then you use that on you.
And then I used it on me, because I thought, oh my God. When I realized it was a thing, it was actually neuroscience. And it was actually, oh my gosh, our unconscious mind can process 2.3 million pieces of information every second. I didn't know this. And I was using my logical mind to talk down to myself. And I was using my unconscious mind to succeed and to believe in myself. But I didn't know how they worked. Or when I learned the theory about it, I'm like, oh, that's what's been happening all my life.
Then you went and learned NLP and learned the structure of it. And I mean, but the thing is, you were already doing this with your clients. You had to dissect what you were doing so you could use it for yourself and then get better with your clients.
Absolutely.
Because, and for those who aren't familiar, neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP, it modeled people who are intuitively brilliant at a therapy originally, but at many things. And like, one of the people they modeled was Virginia Satir. I actually got to watch her one weekend work with a family on stage in front of us, and it was mind-blowing what she did, just very naturally. But what NLP did is it broke down all of the language patterns that she used, intonalities, everything, so that other people could get similar results. And that's what you did to yourself. I did not know that. That's incredible.
And everybody has heard of NLP. If you're a parent, for example, Milton Erickson, we call those the Ericksonians. So there are lots of Ericksonians out there. And one of them that I'm sure you've used with your kids is, do you want to put your pajama on now or after you brush your teeth? When you say that, you imply, this is Milton Erickson's model, you imply that they will brush their teeth. But they are deciding if they want to do it now or after pajamas. So somehow, if you ask somebody, if you ask a kid, do you want to brush your teeth? They'll say, no, I don't want to brush my teeth. If you say, do you want to brush your teeth now or after you put your pajamas? So it's an Ericksonian. So everybody's kind of knowing what NLP is. Once you learn more about it, then you also learn what not to do, because it tells you that your kid and yourself, we all have that personal assistant in our head writing down everything we think and everything we say. So somehow, whenever you tell your kids, don't drop it, or you say,
you're saying drop it.
Don't fall, don't walk in the water. And I was just, because I do children's programs now as well, because I believe that if I can help 50-year-old woman sitting in my office gain confidence, it's great. However, where was I when they were 5 years old? Why didn't I help them then? Like, oh my gosh, their life could have been so much different. So about 2 years ago, I thought I need to create a kids program, because I was born in a family that was super positive. So my parents did that to me somehow, maybe with, I don't know if it was my parents or if it was Zig Ziglar and Augmentino and Jean-Marc Chaput, because that's what I had to listen to. However, I think that because I had learned it when I was a kid, I needed to create a kids program. So I have a kids program, The Adventures of Captain Vic. So it's two different pirates, Captain
Right.
Paul and Captain Vic, and they live different adventures. It's cartoons. It's super cute. It's an online program, so the parent can watch that at home, and we have the teachers version as well. So
Right.
we got into grade 3, so the teachers can do that in their classroom. So all this that I was working with my client and transformed into a children's program much later on in life is all based on understanding how when you talk to your personal assistant, when you say something to your kids, as well, firstly, when you say something to yourself, because people, before talking to other people, they talk to themselves, right?
Yeah,
so
totally.
is they wake up in the morning and then they look at themselves in the mirror and they go, oh, I'm so tired. I'm so stressed out. I think I'm gaining weight, right? So then their personal assistant writes that down. Stressed out, tired, gaining weight. And then the personal assistant goes to make this right. Stressed out. What can I do for this? Oh, I know I'm going to make them forget something at home. They're going to have to turn around in traffic. It's going to be stressful. Check. Tired. What can I do for this? Oh, I know. I'm going to keep them awake all night. She's going to be really tired in the morning. Check. Gaining weight. Oh, I know. That's an easy one. I can certainly find a chocolate bar or something deep fried, more wine. Check. Right?
So it's, the thing is, I understand that. The other thing I want to pull out that I'm hearing is that you see opportunities that come in. So, you were that dancer, right back to you were that dancer and they needed someone, you stepped in. When you were working with your fitness, you were doing the personal training, then you saw, how their eating is not right. So you added that, the nutrition and the lifestyle and so you saw the opportunity to work with the kids and so on. And I know there's something you shared with me. I'd like to, that's fairly recent, where you saw these people that were spending a couple of months down south and you were so busy and you're going, how can they do that? But you actually applied your principles to that, right? Can you share that story?
Yeah, exactly. So that was maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I was starting to do very well for my business. The Think Yourself Academy was thriving. I had trainers across Canada, so I was hosting events like almost every 2 weeks. I had a full day event either here or I had trainers in Ontario and in Alberta. And there was lots going on. So I was hosting my own events, speaking at them and training trainers on my material that were doing that as well. And I was busy. I was working hard. I was working like from 5 a.m. till 10 p.m. because I was still teaching my fitness classes at night. So I would go to my fitness class, come back, shower, eat at my desk and keep working until 10, go to bed, start over the next day. I was never spending any time with my husband or the kids. No time for that. I was building my Think Yourself Academy, and
you had to be busy. That was the image.
Yeah. And the harder I work, the more exhausted I was feeling. And I thought, oh my gosh, is that it? That's it. That's the life of entrepreneur. That's what I wanted. To be successful, you need to be drained. That's the new norm now. And I was looking at people going away for a month, 2 months during the winter. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I can't take a day off. Like I'm going to take 2 months off to go south. This is not happening. How are they doing this? So I thought, I need to figure this out. And working harder was over. I needed to start working smarter. And that's what I started doing. I started to really focus on, wait, I need to surround myself with people that know better than me. And that's actually when I joined CAPS, the Canadian Association of Professional Speakers, where we met. Mm-hmm. And I've learned so much from the CAPS members, the community. I'm still learning a humongous amount from them. I'm applying so many things that I've learned and that work. And I have to, and that's when I started to create leverage as well and create online classes. Instead of hosting live events, I would record my material, put it online, which is very lucky for me right now because I started this process 3 years ago. Now everybody's scrambling to be online and to have online products and to see their clients online. And I've been doing this for years. Like I've been coaching online on Zoom for 10 years because when I moved from Toronto to BC, I needed to continue to see my clients. So I've been seeing my clients on Skype and FaceTime and now Zoom for 10 years. So I have maybe a few pages ahead in that chapter, right? So I'm very blessed that I started that a long time ago. And now I can benefit from the leverage, not having to be at my live event every 2 weeks. I have all my stuff that's pre-recorded and people buy it. So this year, for the first time, we actually went to Palm Deserts for 2 months. And I'm sitting by the pool and I'm looking at my phone and, oh, you just received an order for $200. Oh, you just received an order for $79. You just received an order for $997. Cool. That's leverage. And that's what I built for myself in the past 3 years because online allowed me to build that model of business.
Now, you also had, I know we've talked about this, we all hit, those of us in this who do speaking, who declared a pandemic, global pandemic, that night, overnight, all meetings through the summer and now potentially into the fall canceled, all our business disappeared, right? So despite the fact that you all did have a base online, there was also a lot that shifted that time, and you went through a little bit as well to adapt. Can you share a little bit of that journey? Because right now a lot of entrepreneurs are facing their business either was stopped or they just don't know how to do it the way they used to. So because you went through that yourself, if you can share a little bit of what you went through and how you flipped that around.
Absolutely. So I had a moment where I completely broke down in tears and I thought, oh my gosh, because all of a sudden I'm looking at my calendar that was fully booked. And I also have trainers that work for me. So not only my own, I'm also a speaker. Even if I have some products online, I still speak live on stage at events. And I got 1 speaking engagement canceled, 2, 3, and then all the way up till October. So far, I still have 1 holding on for November, and I'm crossing my fingers. But still, everything was canceled. And then my trainers, because I do a lot of work in schools, I had for over $50,000 worth of contracts in 23 different schools for March, May, and June that vanished just like that because school closed. So I panicked and I was like, whoa, what can I do? I need to do something because I have some savings. I can look at my credit card and eliminate a whole bunch of things that I don't need to spend right now. There's a lot of things we can do. However, what am I going to do to replace this income? So now I have a whole bunch of airline credits. So you don't get your money back for all these flights that were booked. So I have maybe $14,000 worth of airline credits now to go nowhere because I don't want to go right now. So anyway, that's another story. I'm gonna probably go on a huge holiday whenever this is all over. But that was not money in my bank account either.
Yes.
So I thought, what am I doing well? What do I have? What are the online products that I have right now that could help other people that are scrambling right now? And I need to pitch in. There was 1 product that I didn't even have. And I had started about 3 years ago. I started to do business mentorship. So yes, I do. I'm a confidence expert. So I help people get rid of that negative self-talk to build confidence and to find clarity into what they want. That's what I do one-on-one with my coaching. I still could continue my coaching. So this business was not gone. So I still had these clients. But then in the online products, I was teaching that. And a lot of clients that would come to me would say, I'm confident. I got this. I want you to teach me how to make money. I want you to teach me how to be a better entrepreneur. When you started to work smarter, how did you do it? So everything that I had learned from here and there, I started teaching other people how I was building my business. So that became the business mentorship side of my business. And that's what saved me during the pandemic, because all of a sudden, what I had been doing for 3 years, everybody needed to know now. And they didn't have 3 years to make all the mistakes.
Right.
So they needed to know. So that's when I started to do one-on-one business mentorship a lot more during the pandemic. So my first few clients on the first week, they're like, oh my gosh, like help me. And they're clients that I've been doing business mentorship for 3 years. So the thing is, their questions changed. How do you put my business online? How do you put a green screen behind you? How do you create mentorship? How do you transform social media fans into paying clients? So I thought, they were always asking me the same thing. And they're paying me $250 an hour for me to teach them where to click. And I thought, oh my gosh, I need to record this. So then I decided quickly, and this is like March 17 or March 18, like it's 4 days into the lockdown. 4 days later, I'm recording 2 new courses, Think Yourself a Tech Pro and Think Yourself a Business Pro, because that's what my clients needed. They needed to learn that. And then the Think Yourself a Tech Pro is $100. It's a lot faster to watch this than to pay me $250 an hour, because at that time, nobody has money to spare anyway. And I gave a super huge discount during the pandemic as well, so that people could afford these courses and how to transform social media fans into paying clients.
Right.
What people need to do right now. Social media is huge. Everybody spends so much more time on social media. But how do you, I was posting videos before and I could get like 400 likes and then 4,000 views, but I don't know who they are. That's not money in my bank account. So what is that good at? So I need to figure that out. And that's what I teach also in the business mentorship. But these online courses was for me to hustle while people were at home doing painting by numbers and knitting. And I was envious and I was like, I want to start knitting.
Or baking.
Or baking. Exactly. I'm not even good at that. Never turns out great. My baking, I made a cake for my husband because his birthday was during the pandemic. We called it the anchor cake. It was so hard.
So you know your strengths and you stick to them.
Exactly.
So,
I'm a chef. I cook main meals really well, but not cakes.
Yeah. So for entrepreneurs now, for business owners, what advice would you give them now as they're trying to figure out how to move forward? People are opening up at different rates depending where you are. What is it you would say to them to find ways to move forward, especially if the way of doing it is not working anymore?
Exactly. So the first thing is, I would say 2 words: calm down. Back off. Slow down. No, you don't need to buy a full studio of equipment. And people are stuck with technology, and they think that I have one of my clients is a professional speaker, and like she's like #1 professional speaker in Canada, I think. She's amazing. And she's been to all countries in the world, and she's been speaking for 25 years, and she's amazing. And she's like, oh, I think I'm going to buy a telescriptor, and I think I'm going to buy a shifter, and I'm going to do this because I can't, it needs to be. And I said, I'm going to have to stop you right there. Stop it. Shut up. No, you don't. Did you have a teleprompter, like a telescriptor? Reading, words at you when you were on a stage? She said, no, I never used that. Why would you need to buy that to talk online? It's the same. You are good at what you do.
Totally.
Already. And you don't need anything. You don't need anything fancy. You can shut your videos. You can shoot them with your phone and then use a normal mic. Just start. Just do a few online video of 3 minutes, 1 tip. Just do it. Stop it with the I need this technology. Oh, I need that. And I need to buy a shifter. And I need to have a full big console and 3 monitors in my office. And I need a noise canceling microphone. And I need, just start, just do it. People need you right now. They need your message, and your clients need you. They need to be motivated right now. There's more anxiety than ever before. People are panicking. Your clients need your message. And what are you doing? You're not delivering the message. You're not solving their problems because, oh, I'm scared of technology. Oh, I can't do that. So who are you to just use this excuse to not help them? They need help today. So stop putting all these requirements. It's not true. You have everything you need right now to deliver a message. If you have an internet connection and a phone, you got this.
Yeah.
You're good to go. And
but
then
to generalize it beyond.
And eventually you'll start building you're going to get more used to Zoom, and you're going to get more used to by practicing, like my niece, she's starting to drive, and she's been a passenger in the seated side of the car for years, and she thinks she can be a good driver. And if she buys a Maserati, she's going to be a much better driver. No, you just need to drive. Start with your little JO Metro. I don't even know if it's still a car or a Chevy or a little old car. It's fine. Practice. Go into practice recording videos all the time. Practice with your friends and do conferences with 2 or 3 of your friends and say, hey, I want to test that with you. And then practice, drive the car, because it's only by driving the car that you'll get good at it. You don't need to buy a Maserati before you start driving. And please don't, because, hey, you don't want to make your mistakes in front of your real clients. So get started, drive the car.
Yeah. And generalizing it past speakers, it's about, you're saying, she doesn't speak using a teleprompter on stage, but that's her strength. So find your strengths, find a way to use it in the new environment, and start, basically.
Do it. Just do it. By the way, she just did her first conference, and now she's got a few booked, and she just needed to change. It's a limiting belief. I'm not good with technology. Of course you're good with technology. Are you still using the yellow pages? Nobody uses the yellow pages. If you are still using the yellow pages, okay, you can have this excuse that you're not good with technology.
Yeah.
But if you're able to Google something, if you're able to type without a keyboard. I used to have a BlackBerry where I had a keyboard. I don't anymore. And when this came up, I'm like, what the frick? There's no keyboard. What am I? How? What? Well, we figured it out, and they do updates all the time. And then on the updates, now all of a sudden you can't find your pictures anymore. You figure it out. We figure it out. We can do this. We can do this.
So, Nathalie, where are the best places for people to get a hold of you if they want to connect with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can just go to thinkyourself.com/schedule to book a virtual coffee with me. Just a 15-minute virtual coffee. It's free. Just, to get to know each other and see if there's anything that I can do to help. And you can just go to thinkyourself.com as well, just on my website, and browse around. I still do lots of online virtual presentations. So I have a presentation this coming Saturday. If you go to capscalgary.ca or .com, capscalgary.com. So I'm presenting on pivoting your business online. So that could be a really good, interesting session for you. I think it's free, with Lois Creamer and Tina Varugese. So that's going to be a really cool session. And tomorrow with Ravi, we have our Back to Business show. So get it's at 11 a.m. Pacific time. So
3 o'clock Atlantic, 2 o'clock Eastern. So every Friday.
Every Friday.
Yeah. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for inviting me to your show. I felt like a diva. Like, we've been talking about me for almost an hour. Oh my gosh.
Awesome. And again, this is going to continue through June, every weekday in June. And tomorrow I'm going to be here with Shelly Saxena, we're going to stay in the fitness sort of arena to start. She started working in the corporate world in marketing, but now doing her own business as a dance pro. And she has had to switch things around the last few months as well. So that's going to be exciting. Also, if you are a business owner, please take a look at leadershiprx.com. So excited about this conference next week on Wednesday. It's the one day we're not going to have the passion of entrepreneurship. This is going to be going on, and it's very different from anything you've experienced from Zoom, GoToMeeting, where it's going to be just like being at an in-person conference where you can change tables, network, and have some powerhouse speakers there. And also, and you're attending, that's right.
I'm attending, yeah.
And also, we're just wrapping up. There's a thought exchange that David Guthrow and I are doing on what do you need to be really good at? What do you need to be great at to thrive through these times and beyond? And if I'll put the link in the comments here, if you can take a few minutes to do that, we'd really appreciate it. We're just starting to wrap that up, and we'll be pulling together a report from that. Really need your input if you're an entrepreneur or a business owner. And we will see you tomorrow here for the passion of entrepreneurship and with Nathalie for getting back to business. Thank you for joining us.